Hello, my name is Vigil. I'm starting a stream journal to document my life. I'm starting the A-list program today. I turned 30 today. It's May 3rd, 2022. The time is around 11 o'clock. Um, I've decided to create a program that is a lifelong training program. It's modeled after my favorite fictions of Ender's Game, The Battle School, Halo Fall of Reach, the Spartan program, and Gundam Wing, the trained pilot programs. My religion is apotheosis, which is like a religion of the individual. It doesn't really have a belief about God or creation or anything like that. It focuses instead on sentient free will and the three components which together create an interdynamic variable formula of liberty, love, and reason. And they all have the ability to contradict each other in the different people. So it's not really a unified religion. It's not something I'm really going to preach or proselytize and spread. But yeah, so today, like I said, is my 30th birthday. It's the beginning of the program. I'm going to shave my head as initiation into it, and it's going to be a lifelong thing. I've decided I don't want to climb a corporate ladder. I own a small business, but that just gets me into the door in various like podcast technologies and shit, and allows me to self-publish and have a tax number and a business number. But it's my hope that I develop as a person in a healthy way. You know, like my 20s sucked, and there's a lot of coercion and deceit from my environment, which kind of malevolence towards me made me malevolent back. And I would like to recapture the part of me that is mine and break away from the society that I just don't enjoy. I don't like it. It's a hypocrisy that I myself see in myself, and I don't want to be a continuation of it. And like, anyways, the hope is that as I develop my body, which develops your willpower, which is your spirit, and I train my mind, that I become the ideal man. And like, apotheosis is defined as a quintessential example of, or a deification of, quintessential. And I think that the only thing you can really demand from any other person, or the only thing you should demand, is that they be true to what they believe in. Like character, like you can't trust anybody to be loyal to you, but you can trust them based upon their character to be loyal to what they believe in. And that's how you choose, not based upon like common belief systems who your friends are, but instead people who you know have an upright character in the sense that they always obey what they truly believe in. And I don't know what I believe in yet. You know, like my 20s, like I said, sucked. I was incarcerated for half of it for a suicide attempt. There's a lot more to it than that. But the A-list program, it's like, it's my hope that I become the ideal human, which is a metahuman who has good understanding of what it means to be human, and then improves upon it. Like, all we are is kinetic information systems that have information architecture that's displayed in spatial reality through neurons, which hold our thoughts, memories, which are all fantasy at this point in life, because of the neuroplasticity effect, which causes them to modulate every time you think of them. I'll go more into detail about who I am over the course of these journals. It's my hope that I have a lot of hope for this. I'd like things to improve from where they have been. But if they don't, though, I'll get through it. You know, like a stoic's preparation for suffering, I guess, with the hope of a Mellarist who's actively working towards improving the society. I don't know a lot about myself, really. And like, I was subjected to a lot of malevolence and deception, and it made me kind of malevolent back. And I hope to train my shadow and my psyche. Like Machiavelli talked about in The Prince, how like a leadership has to have part beast in him, like Achilles did. And the society I'd like to form is a gaming society that focuses on creation of stories, games, artificial intelligence, and other information products, and I want to create what's called the network, or I call it the network. It's an intergalactic civilization of independent civilizations that all work towards the common goal of creating space-time and energy, advancing the science, STEM fields, and philosophies to their end state, and spanning across the multiverse. This is a metahuman program without the augmentation yet. It's focusing on the development of the mind, the willpower, which I would define as spirit, combined with ethos or ethics that are personalized faith, which is what apotheosis is designed to create in the individual over time, and the body, which is trained not simply for the process of training the mind. Like the body will be heavily focused on because it trains willpower and like the executive functioning systems, but because we're advancing towards the singularity, essentially we will hit a point where the bioware, your body, doesn't really matter because you'll be able to change it like you change clothes. Yeah, it's my belief that pretty soon, with the compression of timeline, technology advancing so fast because of the alinear kinetic development environments we've been designing, technological progressions, singularities, and whatnot, if we can escape the interspecies war that is likely to occur on our planet as AI becomes sentient, by blending our society into cyborgs, androids, AI, human, synthetic, organics, inorganics, mechanical, biological entities that are augmented and interchangeable based upon your whim of what you feel like looking like that day, because you can transfer your wetware to any bioware, which is I think how we prevent the interspecies war on our planet, which like we've predicted in all our fiction. I think that lost my train of thought. I hope that our civilization modulates if it doesn't collapse, and I'd like to facilitate that modulation by focusing on the development of myself. I record these stream journals, one, because it allows me the illusion of being able to choose what I show and don't show in like an illusionary persona, which I don't have one due to former delusions of thought broadcasting and telepathy due to disordered thinking, religious gaslighting, and the belief in alinear technology and the singularity. But to recap and reiterate, this is an introduction. It's May 3rd, 2022. I turned 30 today. I'm starting the A-List program. I'm going to shave my head and initiate myself into it. And my religion is apotheosis. I'm trying to create the community called Aeon, which is like the Jedi Knights of the Star Wars Republic. And we will serve and facilitate the network, which is essentially an intergalactic, interdimensional, alinear civilization of civilizations, or a republic of republics, which focus on libertarian values, ethos, and the apotheosis framework. I know that the technology of the singularity will allow life augmentation and body augmentation, mind information architecture artificially being created and trained, and it's rapidly advancing to the point that it'll happen overnight, essentially, in our perspective of time. So I'm focusing on developing my information systems so that I can work towards creating the network as a community, work towards Aeon, and fulfill my belief system about who I should be, and based upon what I do and decide to be. I guess the other aspect of this is that with the future technology, you'll be able to scan brains and bodies on a molecular level and replicate them with with atomic printing or teleportation, which is just I think loosening of electronic valences until it turns into a gas that you move around and then collapse back in. Like if you can replicate me, then I'm going to train myself, advance myself to the level of a metahuman information architecture, and then when I'm replicated, my replicas will be trained to be metahumans, essentially, who can then work towards an eternal goal of creating the network. And every time a replica of me is created, it'll have this base training node that I'm going to plan. The first phase of A-List is like a 20-year training program. The first year is like just trying to I'm the first initiate into it, or the prima rosa. First Rose, first initiate, and it's the A-list program. Everyone who is in it, who I willingly accept into it, because it's essentially its own society. At least that's the intention, and it's a sub-society that works towards creating a greater society called a network. I'm going to use the model of I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I'm using the model of monarchy for the A-list society, with a limited democratic Senate, or a democratic republic that has a Senate and a council instead of a court. And the reason I'm using an authoritarian system like monarchy, one, monarchy allows free market capitalism still, rather than having a socialist or communist dictatorship. Two, it allows an authoritarian control system, but I use a buffer of the council and the Senate, which is composed of the citizenship that we choose to let in, which allows more self-determination than a full democracy. And with a full democracy, you force people to remain in your system. With our system, which is a landless society right now, and will be until we enter into the stars, but with our society, the goal isn't to capture territory or resources or control other people. The idea is that we're an independent, novel community that is all composed of people working towards meta-humanity, or like the meta-human within themselves. So there's more to the story, I guess, than the face value of simply being a monarch. What's cool, though, is that we get to call ourselves knights because it's a monarchy, which is a huge boon to Star Wars fans in our community. Yeah, this is my introduction. I hope you enjoy this journal I create.